Well, hello everyone. I'm Jill Bloom, publisher of Walls and Ceilings, and I'm here today with my editors John Wyatt and associate editor Hannah Pololi. And we are so honored to be spending some time with an incredible contractor out of Pennsylvania, Rick Reppert, who's the president of RL Reppert. And Rick, we know how busy you are, so thank you so much for your time today. And I'm going to hear from here. I'm going to turn it over to John to kick off, and so we can find out what's going on in Pennsylvania.
Right. Good morning, America. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Rick, especially you, thanks for taking the time off on this summer day to chat about how business is and everything else going on in basically your life and what's new. So first off, let's, very generally, how is business going for you?
Well, thanks, Jill, John, and Hannah for having me today. I appreciate that. So business right now, we have resumed business. All our projects are back open. They were shut down for quite some time. They're all back open now. They range, some are at 50% capacity, whereas others are back at a full 100% capacity. A lot of our hospital projects and school projects, they opened up fairly quickly right after the initial statewide shutdown. So we're happy to get those projects back rolling and moving forward, so they're not just sitting stagnant at this point.
So how long were things shut down for? Give me a time frame, and how did that impact you specifically? I'm sure it wasn't good, but.
Right. So most of our projects were, all of our projects were shut down on March 20th statewide. And then the majority of the resume to work schedule started on May 1st. So we were shut down for quite a bit there. However, again, the exception being hospital projects, which were essential, they were allowed to resume almost immediately. School projects were entirely up to the school board. So if the school board decided they wanted to resume construction, we were able to do that, which was the majority of our projects. They wanted to get them moving just in case, school would resume back, in September when the kids come back. So they picked up speed fairly quickly. And actually, both of those types of projects are on schedule to still be complete almost at the exact same time they were supposed to be in the first place.
So, Rick, I should have asked this initially, but just you tell everyone watching, what do you guys do as a company? Give us the full scope of your services.
Okay. So RL Reppert is a commercial wall and ceiling contractor. We've been in business 47 years this year. We started with 4 part-time employees. We currently employ on an average of about 80 employees. We do metal stud framing, drywall, acoustical ceilings, prefabricated systems, metal composite panels, carpentry, all that interior finish type work that you see. And a lot of our projects solely revolve around schools, hospitals, hotels, assisted living projects, usually larger scale commercial projects is what we focus on.
Quite a scope. And which basically your perimeters, are you throughout the whole state of Pennsylvania, or are you just working Metro Philly?
Yeah, so we're based out of Allentown area of Pennsylvania, and we do work up to 2 hours from our office. Most of our work, I'm going to say 90%, if not higher, is within an hour from here. The Lehigh Valley has been booming lately, specifically Allentown. So there's plenty of projects going on around here, just in this vicinity. And then obviously we're a short run from Jersey, so we can pop right over into New Jersey and work on projects over there as well.
Wow, so that is quite a reach. You're still actively bidding jobs at this point, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we get about on average 140 bid invites a month. We don't obviously bid all those. We focus on a lot of the same general contractors that we've worked for, for 30 years now, and certain projects that we really actively want to go after and make sure we secure. Those are the ones we focus on with our estimating team.
Yeah, definitely. So Rick, I also know that Pennsylvania was one of the first states to shut down all but critical work amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. And I know you guys have been out since March 20th. So tell me a little bit about how you and your employees took that news, and also how the transition back to work has been for all of you.
Yeah, so with Pennsylvania's governor coming out, he unfortunately told us late in the day that everything needed to shut down by, I believe it was 5 p.m. that day. We had to call all our employees and tell them not to report to work the next day. We had our project managers come in the next day, and we developed a game plan. One of the main things we did as far as the office here was we switched all our project managers over to estimators and had them start bidding projects, and they all work remotely. So, which we have not done in the past. So that was one of our major changes, and we had to do it fairly quickly to get everybody set up at home, and start bidding projects immediately, which, worked out well. Obviously that work is now coming in because we kept bidding during the whole pandemic. But yeah, it just took a lot of adapting, on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big adjustment. Has anyone gotten sick out of your employees? Has there been any health concerns on that level?
No, we've been very fortunate. 2 of our projects recently have been shut down because another contractor's apprentice was diagnosed with COVID or came back with a positive test. We only had 2 guys on that project. Thankfully, we pulled them off. We had them tested. They came back negative. Everything was in the clear. All our guys are wearing masks. They're wearing all the safety PPE they need. We send them out with hand sanitizer, Clorox wipes, bleach and water mixture, everything they need to kind of keep themselves safe while they're out there on the projects.
Since you had that time to kind of review and reflect on business and life and all the great things that have come this first half of the year, any massive changes you guys are approaching now to the company? Any changes, investments, scaling down, just new game changes? I mean, this morning I saw you sent us some kind of a tutorial on some management software it looks like you're utilizing. That's pretty interesting. So obviously your head's into thinking definitely forward and about new things. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we've been trying to adapt to and integrate into the company is streamlining a lot of our processes by using technology. There's so much technology out there. Construction's always kind of lagged a little bit with technology usage and involvement. We've been really focusing on that in the past couple of years. So that has been a big help through this, was the fact that we were already utilizing a lot of the technology. The few things we still had on paper and we're still doing the old style way. We have switched over down to simple things. Our company newsletter that we put out every month is now 100% digital. We don't print it. We don't put it in people's checks like we used to. We started using programs that we could constantly reach out to the employees and give them updates and everything. Even down to time cards. Time cards are all electronic now. There's still a few people that like to fill out a paper time card and get that in. So we've kind of switched that process over as well. But there really hasn't been nothing major. Our major stuff has happened prior to this, to help our future growth here.
Yeah, so based on everything that you just said, how would you say that you see construction changing now moving forward?
So one of the biggest changes I see is definitely going to be the elimination of paper on construction projects. We've seen it a lot lately. We used to go to the general contractor's office and pick up drawings, come back to the office, bid them on paper, write everything on paper, take the proposal and print it and then fax it. Then we get a contract in the mail, we review the contract, sign it, send it back, and then print off drawings for the actual project. Now we do that whole process with no paperwork printed at all. We're digitally getting the drawings, we're bidding it digitally, we are doing contracts digitally. So I think that's what you're going to see the construction industry evolve into is, everything's digital.
So no more blueprints at the job site, huh?
Yeah, so we actually, we're working on a big we have 3 towers right now we're doing for a dormitory. They come out with new drawings. I think we're up to bulletin revision number 23 on that project. So we have not printed off a set of drawings yet for that job. And I believe there's been about 600 drawings so far that have come out for that project. So in order to try to keep up with that on the paper scale of that, you would be constantly printing drawings. Instead we're using our tablets, and we can update them instantly. And the guys out in the field instantly get those updates and, have them right at their fingertips. So that's been a huge, advantage for us there.
That sounds good. So you are happy with that. That hasn't presented new challenges, because obviously a tablet is 10 times smaller than a blueprint, right?
Which is kind of a benefit at the same time. So the tablet, you have everything. You have the ability to zoom in on it, whereas a drawing, you don't have that ability to zoom in. You can scale on the tablet, which, on the drawing you can too, but you have to carry this big bulky set of drawings. The tablet has been a big asset, and that's something we switched years back to, is giving all our supervisors tablets. Now it's even trickled down to our crew foreman and everything like that to have that.
So does that come back to the project manager or foreman to review, what the work is going to be for that day or that week or however? I mean, it's got to be related. Are you watching that on a bigger screen? Work the job site with the laborers? I mean, basically, how does the work translate from, management to basically the people actually installing the material?
Yeah, so the project managers, they have the iPads as well, and they have obviously the computer and stuff. So when we bid a project, it's bid all on our computer, and it's all colored up with different colors for different partitions. We're able to print that in color to a PDF and submit that to our supervisors in color, on their tablet, so they can actually see that, okay, this wall type goes up the deck and it's all the blue walls, something simple as that. And then they also have a clean set as well that they can pull dimensions off of. So that's been the computer has been able, and tablets have been able to transfer that information back and forth, even simple as through email.
Wow. Very cool, very cool. So we're nearing the end of this interview now, so John and I are just going to ask a few more questions. But one of them that I wanted to ask you was, is there any advice that you could share with your fellow contractors, whether it's a lesson you learned during this time, or maybe it is switching all of your blueprints to a tablet? Because that sounds like it's very beneficial for both the employees and the clients.
Yeah, one of the biggest killers in this industry is the motto, "We've always done it this way." That's one of the worst things you can, do is, I always relate it to cars. We used to have carbureted cars. We don't have carbureted cars anymore. We have fuel injection. So you got to learn to adapt and adjust with the situations in front of you and that are being presented to you. That's always one of my biggest pieces of advice is learn how to adapt and adjust. And, you can always move forward then, and always as well focus on your long-term goals. I feel like if you have a long-term goal set out there, you'll always make steps to achieve that goal, to eventually have that satisfied.
So how are you communicating with suppliers and manufacturers, people like that? Do you still have sales calls from, any of the manufacturers trying to sell you or showcase their latest product?
Yeah, we do. A lot of them they'll call us and talk to us on the phone. They'll shoot us an email with some new products. Again, back to that digital portion of it, they're not really stopping in here mainly for, CDC guidelines. They have not been stopping in. Most of it is done either through the phone or through email, sending us new products, a lot of videos, which are obviously, really helpful because we can send those videos right to our supervisors out in the field so they can watch the installation of, these new products that we may be using now that we were not using prior.
Very good. Hey, it's summer, and I know a lot of people take, this time off and spend with their family and all that. How are you doing? Are you experiencing some wanderlust? Do you really need to get away? Do you have that chance? Or do you have a good problem, which means things are too busy at work?
Yeah, I always feel like I should never leave work. I feel like being here is very important. I don't take many vacations, actually. I actually really love work. So I enjoy being here. I enjoy the challenges each and every day that come about. So this is relaxing to me, despite, any stress that may be coming, from different projects and things like that. as far as our guys, most of them had the time off already, especially our field guys. They were off for a while. So, they want to get back to work. They don't want to be sitting at home. A lot of them are chomping at the bit the whole time to, hey, when can I come back? Is there anything, that we can do? So we were very fortunate to get a lot of our projects up and running sooner than later to get those guys all back to work.
Now, as a result of that time off, did anyone walk away and go look for other work, or were you fortunate to retain most of your workforce?
Yeah, we did retain our workforce. What we did was, again, we started doing everything digitally. So we had all our employees' emails, and we started reaching out to them. And every week we would send out a letter, kind of seeing what we see as far as where things are going. We reassured them that they all have their job. They will all be returning to work after this. We also let them know we will be holding their insurance through the whole shutdown. That was one of the things to try to help take that burden off of them, because obviously nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows how it's going to pan out. Nobody knows, what the future will hold, but we want to at least help with some level of burden relief for them. And we also told them, if you need something, call us. We're here for you. A lot of our guys, we have 5 employees that have been here 40 plus years. We have 15 employees that have been here 30 plus years. To us, they're our family. So we need to make sure that they're just as safe as, any one of our family members, and that they're secure as well.
Well, we applaud you for doing that. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of people we're speaking with. So well done, sir. Well done. I'm going to give the last question to Hannah.
Okay.
All right, so why don't you just take a moment, Rick, to brag about your company. Tell us the coolest things you're doing. Tell us how awesome your employees are. Just really brag about yourself.
Okay. So like I said before, Oral Repert's a commercial wall and ceiling contractor. We've been in business 47 years. Back to that, my statement I just mentioned about 5 employees here 40 years, 15 here 30 years. To me, that's really impressive. A lot of companies aren't even in business that long, let alone have those employees that have been here. We started with 4 part-time employees working out of a living room of a house. We now have our own warehouse, our own office and warehouse and all that stuff. We've really made a name for ourselves. We're in our 2nd generation. We took over the company back in 2016. So it's really been progressing and growing and changing. Our guys are some of the most talented people I've ever met. I mean, they just impress me every single day, the amount of knowledge they know, even the younger people. So it's just really impressive to have these people here and with our company and organization for so long as they've been.
Well, that is awesome. That is awesome, Rick. I love to hear you say that you love work and you find it relaxing. John and I have been doing this for 20 years, and we're so excited to have Hannah on board with us recently. And it's always incredible to hear from the contractors and just what you're doing. And it's obvious you guys adapted very quickly. And I just want to say I appreciate your leadership and everything you've done with your company to keep your employees informed and covered with their health insurance. It's obvious why that you've had so many employees that you said are there, 5 employees that are there for how many years you said? 40 some years?
40 years, over 40 years. Yeah. I think our longest one is 44 years.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And we know how busy you are. So thank you again for your time. We appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who's watching. If you need to reach out to us, or if you have any questions, or if you have any projects as well that you're working on that we should know about, please go to wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for your free digital edition and our free e-newsletters so you know when the next videos are coming up. So you can hear some great feedback and leadership from people just like Rick. And everyone, please stay safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Thanks again, Rick.
All right. Thank you.